Hi everyone, welcome to day 5 of our polynomials unit. Today we're going to be talking about dividing polynomials, which is actually easier than you think. Okay, so let's talk about the steps. Step 1, we actually factor the numerator and we factor the denominator. Okay, so for this one I'm going to do all the numerators in red and I'll do all the denominators in blue so you can keep track. So we're going to factor the top, factor the bottom. And then step 2 is to eliminate common factors. So we'll cancel out those ones that are repeating on both the top and bottom. Okay, so let's look at example 1. The reason I'm not making it big screen is so that I can type things in as we go. Okay, so we have to divide 4b cubed plus 12b squared plus 8b. So the way we're factoring this is the same way as day 4. Okay, we're going to GCF it first, and then we'll do box method if we need to. All right, so if I look at the top, only at the top, we've got 4b cubed plus 12b squared plus 8b. Okay, well, I can divide all three of these by 4, and they all have a b to take out. So I'm going to take out my GCF and write what's left over. Okay, so 4b is my GCF, and then I just divide each one by 4b. So I'd be left with b squared, 12 divided by 4 leaves me with 3. I had b squared, I took away a b, and I'm left with 1. 8b divided by 4b gives me 2. Okay, now I need to go ahead and factor this using the box method. All right, so I'm going to start by filling in my box. Let's see, there we go. I put my first term in the front, last term on the bottom, and now I need to figure out these two missing sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a times c. So a is 1, c is 2. So that's what I'm trying to multiply to. And I'm trying to add to 3. So I'm trying to figure out what multiplies to 2 but adds to 3. Well, 1 times 2 will multiply to 2. And 1 plus 2 will add to 3. So those are my two numbers. So that's what I'm going to type in here. So 1b, which I'm going to move way over here. There. Oh, look at that. And in here, I'll do 2b. That's better. Okay. So now that I have those filled in, I can go ahead and do my GCF factoring. All right. So here, 2b and b squared have a b in common, so I take that out. 1b and 2 have really nothing in common except for a 1, so I'm going to pull that out. B squared and 1b just have a b in common. And 2b and 2 have a 2 in common. So these are my two binomials. So I'm going to rewrite the top so it has my two binomials and my GCF that I pulled out. So now it's 4b times b plus 1 over b plus 2. Or sorry, not over, times b plus 2. That is the factored form of that top polynomial. Okay, so now I'm going to look at the bottom, the 4b squared. Well, it's a monomial, so nothing can be done. I can't factor that. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it as is. All right, so I'm going to put it over under the factored form at the top. So now what I need to do is cancel out what they have in common. They don't have any binomials in common, so that's going to stay. They both have a 4, so those can cancel out. So actually I'm going to draw a little line there. So the 4's cancel out. And if you look, this guy has a b and this has two b's. So I can cancel out a b from both. So if I take away a b from b squared, I'm just left with b. Okay? So, and if it's helpful for these GCFs and these monomials to expand it out to be b times b, and you can cross out what they have in common, that works too. So the leftover stuff that I have, the stuff that's not crossed out, is going to be my my divided. So, oh, so sorry. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. That was one of my dogs. Heard something outside. She might do it again. I'm so sorry. Especially sorry if you were wearing headphones. Anyway, the stuff that I didn't cross off, that is going to be my final answer. Okay? So I'm not fully dividing. I'm not trying to get, what's it called? I'm not trying to get decimals or anything. I'm not trying to get a single number answer. What I'm trying to do is divide out those common factors. Okay? That's the whole point of dividing polynomials. So sometimes you might just get you left with one binomial. Sometimes not. Okay? So now you guys are going to try this one on your own. Right? And your setup should be pretty similar to how I did it. All right, example 2. We're going to divide this now. So I need to factor the top, factor the bottom, excuse me. So I'm going to start with the top. So I've got 2x squared plus x minus 15. I can't divide all the numbers by the same thing, and they don't all have x's to give, so there's no GCF there. So I'm going to go straight into creating my box method. So first I'm going to create my box, have it show up. I'm going to fill in the 2x squared in the top and the negative 15 in the bottom. And now I need to come up with the two numbers in the middle. Okay? So to do that, I'm going to multiply 2 times negative 15. And I get negative 30. So I'm trying to come up with numbers that multiply up to negative 30, but will add up to this invisible 1 here. So there is a 1 right here. Oh, I want a different color. That invisible 1. So that's what they need to add to. Okay, so I start coming with numbers. Negative 1 and 30. They don't add up to 1, so I'm moving on. Negative 2 and 15 don't add up to 1, so I move on. Negative 3 and 10 don't add up to 1, so I move on. Negative 5 and 6 do add up to 1, so I'm going to use those two numbers. And I'm going to fill it in with a negative 5x and a 6x. Those two boxes should always have the variable in it. Okay? So now I can go ahead and GCF it. So 2x squared and 6x, well, they're both divisible by 2 and they both have an x to give, so 2x is what I can pull out. Negative 5x and negative 15, they both are divisible by negative 5, so that's what I pull out. 2x squared and negative 5x, they both have an x I can pull out. And 6x and negative 15 are both divisible by 3, so I can pull that out. So those are my two binomials. I didn't have a GCF, so to rewrite the top in factored form, I have 2x minus 5 and x plus 3. Now the bottom, the x plus 3, that can't be factored anymore. It's already in like as factors as it can be. Okay, so because I can't factor it, I'm just going to go ahead and write it on the bottom. All right, so now everything's factored, and if we look, they both have the x plus 3 in common. So that is what is getting eliminated, that x plus 3. Okay, so I have nothing, I only have that 2x minus 5 on the top, and I don't have anything left on the bottom, so I just go ahead and rewrite it. The only thing left is the 2x minus 5, so that is my answer. Okay, where's my little thingy? There it is. Okay. All right, so now you guys are going to try this one on your own. Okay, so now example 3. This one, if you can guess, is actually going to be the one where you have to factor both. So I'm going to start with the top. First thing I'm going to look at is the GCF. Well, I got a negative 4 of b to the 4th plus 36b to the 3rd minus 56b squared. I can factor out a negative 4 from everything, and they all have two b's to give. The reason I took out a negative 4 is just because the front one is negative, so that's why I pulled it out. So negative 4v squared is my GCF, and then I divided everything by that, and I was left with v squared minus 9v plus 14. Okay, that trinomial that's left, I'm going to go ahead and do the box method for. So I've got my box right here. I'm going to fill in my top and my bottom with the terms there, and then I'm going to figure out how to fill these in. So I'm going to do that invisible 1 again, which is right here. That's my A, times C, which is 14. So 1 times 14, I'm trying to multiply. Hold on, I think my dog is about to bark again. Let me pause you. She was about to bark again. and I caught her before she did, so I saved your ears. You're welcome. Okay, back to what we were doing. A times C gives me 14, so I'm trying to figure out what multiplies up to 14, but will also add up to -9. So I start listing things. 14 and 1 gives me 15. 7 and 2 give me 9. Okay, I think some of this stuff might be wrong from here on out, but we're going to try it. Nope, that's not what I needed. I need to delete that. Oh, delete. Why does this never want to delete when I want it to? Okay, 7 and 2 will give me +9, and if you want to change, if it's the right number but the wrong sign, change the signs going on here. So -7 and -2 will also multiply up to 14, and they will add to be -9. So those are the two numbers I'm going to fill in here. So I've got -7v, and here I've got -2v. So those are my common factors. I think these might change just a wee bit. So v squared and -2v have a v in common. -7v and 14 have a -7 in common, actually. So let me retype that. So ignore this green one. Yep, I think some of this is going to be a little off from here on out, but that's okay. We shall adjust. Ooh, why is that going? This 7 I need to move. Come on. So that's a -7. V squared and -7v have a v in common. And -2v and +14, I'm actually going to take out a -2. Ooh, not a 2. Because the reason I'm going to take out a -2 is because this front one is negative. Okay? And it will change it a little bit. So that's why I want to pull them out. So now I've got, these are going to be negatives. So I'm going to delete this and change it. So now I have -4v squared. Squared. How do I type squared? Sorry, you guys are going to learn my little secrets now. Aren't so secret. Ooh, not what I wanted to do. Delete. Okay. -4v squared. I'll move it in a second. Sorry, guys. Not that. Times v minus 7 and v minus 2. Okay. So that is the factored form of the top. Okay. Now I'm going to do the bottom. If you look at it, it's a binomial. So the very first thing I want to try to do is factor out a GCF. So they both have a -2, or they both are divisible by -2, and they both have 2 v's to pull out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out -2v, and I'll write what's left over. So I have v plus, did I mess this up? I think I did! Guys, I made a mistake. Oh no, this one's totally fine though. I made a mistake here. This should be a +7. This should be a +2 because this should be a +9 because it was a positive. No, it shouldn't. Hold up, what did I do? I don't know. Okay, let's just go with what we got. Why do I feel like this is so off? This should be, okay, got it. I got it. I figured it out. Sorry, guys. This should be a -7. Okay. Sorry if that took me a while. This is supposed to be a -7. That's how it's going to make it a positive. There we go. Got it. Okay, so -2v squared, I pulled that out. I'm left with v minus 7. Okay. So, I'm going to rewrite that now, which is so much fun. Delete. So I've got -2v squared. And then times, ooh, not there, times the v minus 7. Okay, so fully factored. Now I can start eliminating things. They both have the v minus 7 that I can take out. Gone, gone. Okay, they both have a v squared here that I can take out. Gone, gone. -4 and -2 are divisible. Okay, I would be left with a 2 up here. All right, so that's what I'm left with. The whole bottom is canceled out. What I'm left with is 2, okay, because I simplified the -4 over -2. Excuse me, I got a cough. And then I'm left with the v minus 2. Okay, so that's going to change my answer a little bit. So I am left with 2 times v minus 2. And let me move it so you can see this. Okay, and that would be my final answer. Okay, that's the only thing left that I have. Sorry, that was a little confusing. My bad. Alright, so now you guys are going to try this one on your own. This is way less confusing because they're both factorable with box method and everything. Okay, so it's really, it's nicer than the last one. The last example, it's basically the same thing. However, it says find the quotient of this polynomial and this polynomial. Well, quotient means to divide. So when they give it to you like this, they want you to set it up. Okay? To basically be this over this. Okay? So I'm going to factor both of them first, and then I'll go ahead and set it up as a fraction. Okay? So this first one I'm going to focus on, the y squared minus 4y plus 4. There is no GCF between all of them. I can't divide all of them by a number, and there's no variable to pull out. So I'm going to start with my box. Okay, put my y squared here, put my 4 here. I'm going to do my a, which is 1, times my b, or sorry, times my c. So 1 times 4 gives me 4. So I start listing my factors of 4 to figure out how to add up to -4. So 2 times 2 and -2 times 2 are my two options. 2 plus 2 will give me +4, so not what I need. -2 plus -2 will give me -4, which is what I need. So this is the one I'm going to deal with, the -2, -2. So I'm going to fill that in. So it's -2y and -2y. So now I can start doing my GCF. Y squared and -2y have a y in common. -2y and 4, I can divide both of them by -2. Y squared and -2y, I can factor out a y. And -2y and 4, I can pull out a -2. So those are my two factors. So instead of writing the whole trinomial, I'm going to write it in factored form. Y minus 2 times y minus 2. Now I'm going to do the other one. Y squared minus 4. So y squared minus 4, if you remember, it's a binomial, but it has a degree of 2. So I'm going to go through my questions. Is this a perfect square? Yes. Is this subtraction? Yes. Is this a perfect square? Yes. So because this is my special case, I can write it as the square root of y in the front and the square root of 4 in the back, and then put a plus and a minus in between. So that's what I did. Okay? Square root of y squared is y, so I put that in the front. Square root of 4 is 2, so I put it in the back. One gets a plus, one gets a negative. So that is the factored form of that special case. So I put that on the bottom. Okay? And the reason I put this one on the top for this one is because it came first. This y squared minus 4 is on the bottom because it came last. So now I can go ahead and cross out what I got. Well, they both have the y minus 2, and that's what they have in common. I'm only crossing out one for each, okay, because that's all they can do. And then I write what's left over. So the y minus 2 over the y plus 2, and that is my final answer. Okay? So, you guys are going to try this last one on your own. If you have questions, please write them down. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye! Bye.